attendance. Mr. Morgan.
Here.
Mr. Duffy.
Here.
Ms. Taylor. Mr. Betcher. No Betcher, no Taylor. We have a quorum. Madam Clerk, we in compliance with open meetings laws.
Yes, we are.
The agenda has been presented. Any questions on the agenda? Moving forward to public comments, is there anybody here who's not on the agenda who wishes to address the committee? Is there anybody online who wishes to address the committee? Moving forward, the minutes from the previous meeting, has the committee had a chance to review the minutes?
I move we approve them.
I have a motion from Mr. Duffy.
I'll second.
I have a second from Mr. Morgan. Any discussion? Hearing none, call for a vote. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstentions, motion carries. Next up is the Sawyer County Agricultural Fair Association report. The floor is yours, sir. You might want to come up and find one of the microphones, because I got a feeling that you're bringing us nothing but good news, right?
I'm sorry?
Nothing but good news.
Nothing but good news as far as I know. Rick Christian, Sawyer County Fair President. We've worked with Julia with our plan that we put in place, and as of right now, we're still moving forward with everything. I haven't heard anything different. We're masks, and we put out twice as many hand washing stations as we had in the past, and all of our buildings are designated enter one way, exit one way, and there's flow patterns through all the buildings with tables and all of our exhibits to make social distancing. We put up a different tent, so we're moving music outside so people are able to spread out on the grounds. The rides, they're fogging them. Plus there's hand sanitizer and wipes at the rides, at all the games, be able to wipe everything down in between everybody. So as far as I know, we're still having the fair.
Any questions for Mr. Christians?
Any long range weather forecast?
It looks like a little bit of rain on Thursday possibly, so it keeps changing. So I hope it's right. So, we've got plenty of rain the last couple of days down in our pit.
Ms. Ziller?
Good morning. Thank you I was unable to raise the hand icon when it was public comment. A couple of items. First of all, there have been 4 meetings of the Sawyer County Planning Committee to update the county's comprehensive plan. UW Extension has access to a lot of information and resources that would be beneficial for that effort. This morning, we had just received through Northwest Regional Planning the demographics of the county. And while it's helpful to know the populations, number of households, age distributions, there's other information that would help us and help the county with updating the plan, such as the ALICE report and the FoodWise report, some of that qualitative information that gives everyone an idea of the economic and the household situation in the county. And then my second comment has to do with the Sawyer County Fair. Over the years, I've watched how the Fair Association really seems to have been held to a higher standard as far as raising funds to support itself. It really is a benefit to the whole county and especially the youth to have a county fair. But I do wonder if that pressure to raise money plays into the decision to hold a county fair in these times. I checked the Wisconsin County Fair website. There are only 13 counties that are holding fairs that are open to the public. The majority of counties, I believe it was 53, are postponing their fairs till next year. Another group has had a limited public fair participation, not open to the public. And I really do commend all those people that work in putting on this fair and doing the very best they can. But I do disagree with the decision to hold a public county fair this year. And I just hope that everything comes out okay and that people are not forced to make a decision concerning their own personal health and, you know, in supporting their loyalty to the county fair. So thank you. Bye.
Any other, or anything else for Mr. Christians? Mr. Haas?
Yeah, I just wanted to bring up again, Rick and his staff have worked closely with the public health officer all along, trying to make that a safe event. The County Fair Association has its own board. You know, they lease that land from the county, and it's in their sole discretion on whether to hold the fair or not. And so their fair board has met several times on that topic and have worked with the public health officer. So, you know, that decision to go forward, you know, rests with them. And, you know, they've tried to take precautions. We're in precarious times, but I'm sure they've done what they can to make that a safe event. Thank you.
And our decision really didn't have monetary value. It's more about, I've met with a lot of the fair families, and those kids all work hard all year long to take care of their animals. And the fair is their way to showcase it. And it's more about the kids than money at all. So I've gotten a few comments about that from people that it's all about the fair making a buck. And you guys know the fair really doesn't make any money.
Any other questions for Mr. Christians? Hearing none, thank you for your work, sir. I look forward to hearing a positive report next month.
Thank you.
Moving on to UW Wisconsin Extension Department report.
So good morning. I won't go into detail. I'll just point you to a couple things from the report that I submitted. There is a link for the under the ag area in particular that shows you just an overview of the teaching and display garden that's at the Spooner Ag Station that Kevin talks about a lot when he does report to you. So there's a nice little video that does it captures what's happening there. So feel free, if you haven't looked at that yet, I wanted to draw your attention to that. The educators work hard to give you some information, the things that they're doing throughout the month. So instead of having them come right now and present, it's a good overview for you. I also included in the packet the just the budget projections from 2021. I've provided you that in the past. I think it's been helpful as we move into the budget season. So I had those hard copies last month when I was here, and no one took me up on it. So I decided I would just stick it in the packet so you would have that information available to you. So that's it for me.
I have one question. There's a reference in here under SCIES,
Yep.
Sawyer County EOC. What is that?
The emergency operating system. So she's been working with Julianne to get information and resources out to people during the COVID crisis.
Excellent. Any questions for?
Lord, how about the farmer's market? How are they doing?
Yeah, so Erika put in her report just one little quick blurb about that. They are, from my discussions with Erika, they're doing really, really, really well this year and are looking to expand and add another day and all of that. So she's been working with them to try and figure all that out. Of course, it's difficult when people at the farmer's market come from all other areas and have other farmer's markets that they do. So finding another day to bring everybody is difficult to do, but they've been doing really, really well. Selling out is what I'm hearing. And before, if you want to get to the farmer's market, get there early is what I've heard over and over again. So, you know, that's always tricky of, is there another place? Are there other vendors? I think that she's mentioned that there have been some other vendors step forward now, because that's the other part of it. People are really growing their own stuff now and trying to get that to the community. And so good on all ends, except the problem of, gosh, if we want to do more, how do we do that? So she's working with them to do that.
How about LCO in winter? Do they have?
I think I don't know off the top of my head. I know I've heard Riga talk in the past at LCO. There used to be one on Fridays. I don't know if anyone knows if that's still happening or not. Last summer it was.
Friday.
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
So get there early.
Where's the one that's being held on?
I think it's over by Ace Hardware. Is that right? I don't come to Hayward very much. Yeah.
I think it's still next to the old co-op building, the old Gordy's Foods building.
What day is that held on?
Mondays.
Mondays?
You have time this morning, Jim, to get there
Yeah.
for the meeting.
I don't know, this is an extensive agenda. Any other questions for Lori? Thank you for your report.
Sure.
Hayward Area Visitors and Convention Bureau, Sherry, you're up.
Morning. So when we were putting together our budget request, Mike put in the letter, Mike Keefe asked us kind of, how do you measure if tourism is, if you're doing what you want to be doing? So I put this together, this key performance indicators, and it kind of gives us a guideline of, what we did the year before and what we did the current year. So it's kind of out of date already because we don't get our new numbers for 2020 until May of 21. So I just wanted you to kind of look at that, just to kind of see where we're at. But something very interesting with the times right now is, we send out this vacation guide. We print 75,000, and since the whole COVID thing started, I went back to March, we have given out 620 additional vacation guides, either by mail or by someone calling in or emailing us. So our budget is, we're $1,200 higher in postage than we were a year ago because the demand, it's just incredible that people they're coming here and they're like, we always wanted to check out Hayward and now we can. So it's really interesting times.
Any questions for Sherry? Hearing none, thank you for your report.
Thank you.
Moving on to Northwest Regional Planning Commission report. Not here. Moving on to Economic Development Corporation report. Morgan, the floor is yours.
Certainly, thank you. At the last committee meeting, I was able to let you know that we had chosen a new executive director for the Sawyer County Lac-Courte Economic Development Corporation. Was not able to announce it at that time, but I'd like to introduce Mr. Mike Keefe to my left here. He is our new, Mike Keefe, I'm sorry, Mike Gardner. I had Mike Keefe.
Lots of mics.
I had Mike Keefe on my mind this morning. I have to go see him. It is, I'm sorry. Mr. Michael Gardner, he brings with him a wealth of experience dealing with county governments, tribal entities, and nonprofit and economic development corporations in other counties. So he's got a report we wanted to go through. I'll turn it over to him and he can go through some of our current projects.
Good morning. It's a pleasure and different for me to be here. This is my first public meeting in 2020 probably, and my first one as executive director. And I've been fortunate. I've been working with the Economic Development Corporation since mid-March as part of their COVID-19 recovery response team. And in that capacity, I worked with a team of people to provide direct response to organizations and businesses as they try to work their way through the matrix of CARES Act opportunities. And we were able to assist over 40 businesses, typically just, forwarding them to the right places, answering their questions, clarifying it, and you didn't just rely on our team. We had a series of webinars as things rolled out with the CARES Act and different programs from the Small Business Administration. We had a series of webinars that brought in experts and agency staff to get the best information to those in attendance. as the pandemic has moved on, people don't, and it's a busy time of the season, people don't have time for the webinars quite so much. So we've gravitated to a podcast series, which both we've, featured some of the updated COVID and CARES Act information, but also success stories that different businesses in Sawyer County that have responded in a way unique to their business to survive and in some cases thrive during this time. All of those podcasts are available on the corporation's website. We've worked closely with the Visitors Bureau and the Chamber of Commerce to make sure that good information was getting out to the community, both through social marketing and website. The project that is probably that we're working on that is the most urgent is was announced by the WHEDA, Wisconsin Housing, just in mid-July, July 22nd. They announced the Rural Affordable Workforce Housing Initiative pilot. In this case, they're going to pick 3 communities in the state of Wisconsin to work with their staff to do locally generated pilots to respond to local needs and sort of work closely with, in figuring out the local solutions that would work with the existing programs. In this case, the Economic Development Corporation would have the role of a convener, and I believe the selected pilot community will be judged on the perceived capabilities of the convener capacity and the role of a pilot design team. If you haven't seen, the Economic Development Corporation has an updated housing study as of 2018. And in addition to a lot of the economic data that's coming forward from, as was mentioned earlier, Alice and Northwest Regional Planning, there's a lot of, I believe there's a lot of justification why Sawyer County, Le Poudre will be a good choice. A lot of what we're really working on is now recruiting people who are willing to commit to be part of the pilot design team. As I mentioned, they're picking 3 communities that would work with the WHEDA staff over a 2-month period of time, and we'll be looking for commitments from the appropriate bodies to participate in that. The urgency is that the upcoming deadline is the end of this month, so we'll be shaking the trees to get that design team and application together. Is there any questions on that before I move on to another project that's in the works? Earlier stage development isn't quite as time sensitive but all grants are time sensitive. There isn't an application deadline on this, but we're proposing to make application to the U.S. Department of Commerce Economic Development Administration to find support for community engaged innovation. Some of the success stories we've featured has really shown us, in the business that we've interacted with and the board members, there's a lot going on in businesses. We have a diverse geography in Sawyer County. We have a diverse economy. And so we'd be looking at centered around several things: innovation, incubation, and connectivity. And these are mostly projects that are identified in the newly updated strategic plan for the Economic Development Corporation. We're not really creating much, new here in that respect. But we'll be working under innovation. Of course, as an organization, we have to strive for organizational sustainability, and we'll be working to increase the membership base, get longer-term commitments, sponsors, so that we have the funding it takes to follow through on what we propose to do. We'll be examining new partnerships, fee-for-service opportunities, and joint ventures as they arise. We will continue to work with, partners, local expertise, the educational institutions within the county to develop training partnerships to feed the needs of the economy. And of course, we'll be reaching out to local governments and businesses and non-traditional leaders in some cases. Under incubation, we propose to hire a professional firm, professional capacity, to do a business incubator feasibility study. And you can look all over northern Wisconsin and see communities that have developed a geographic place for incubation. Many of them are underserved, many of them are they just aren't being utilized for that. So I mean, I'm going into this and scoping out the work for incubation and in a perspective that one size doesn't fit all. What might work for Hayward proper might not be the exact fit to skill innovation on the reservation or on the Village of Winter. So, the scope of that work will be a little non-traditional in the approach that it's more about processes as it is place, and the industrial parks. I've got a lot to learn about some of these, and through reaching out to communities and learning what might work, hiring a firm to gather the data. It may be a situation that, we're not at the budgeting stage yet, that we may have to do that ourselves. As has been indicated earlier, there is a lot of data generated for the county already. Under connectivity, the Economic Development Corporation has long worked on the broadband issue. We would propose to continue that work through our, the ad hoc broadband committee, examine partnerships that might form solutions and funding to find some breakthroughs for the issues. And we would be engaging the newly formed Governor's Task Force on Broadband Access, which we are fortunate that the task force is chaired by a northern Wisconsin person from Rhinelander. She's a director of Grow North, the regional capacity to our east. And Chad Young from Norvato locally is on that. So we've got some inroads. We will continue to address the issue of connectivity. That's really affecting education, commerce, telemedicine, all these things. So that's really what in the 30 days I've been the executive director, we've been with the support of the board and the executive committee. It's been a real pleasure despite the different circumstances we all operate. I mean, I've been working with Troy for 6 months. It's the first time I ever saw him in person. And he's still wearing a mask.
And I still got his name wrong.
Yeah. So I'd answer any questions at this time. I have my contact information on the bottom. Do not hesitate to contact me with any concerns, input. As you see, keep up with our website. We've got a great marketing person who's keeping it as fresh as can be these days. So it's better than it's been, and I'm pleased to be here.
Congratulations on your hire, your appointment. And thank you for your report. Any questions for Mr. Gardner? Anybody online? Do we have anybody left online?
Linda and Sherry are there.
All right, moving on to future agenda items. Is there anything that the committee would like to have for next month's agenda? Mr. Howe?
Yeah, next month, we'll talk about the individual budgets then for those entities that report here. Everyone has turned in their budget, and then we'll schedule any presentations that you want or any other information, questions, comments about those entities that report here.
Any other matters for discussion only? Hearing none. Thank you, everybody. This meeting is adjourned.
What's this?